All right, so here we are, still shopping for ticketing solutions. I kind of just, I don't want to make this too formal. I want us all to be able to just kind of give our honest feedback about where we're at. Like I said before, I'm not sure if it's going to be wiser for us to all be able to go around and just kind of give a brief. I guess let's do that. Let's kind of go around the horn and just say which ticketing systems you've looked at and maybe which are like your top two right now. And then that way we can kind of, I can sort of streamline the discussion and we can really do some more pros and cons for each product. So I'm just gonna go down my list here. Betsy, tell us also who you are, where you're from, and then what systems you've been looking at and which ones are your top.
Well, hello, I'm Betsy Wolf, and I came on, I work for Madison College, and I also am part of the Sun Prairie Civic Theater, and I just really wanted to come in and listen to see what everybody is finding, because we're looking for new ticketing systems in both of those places. We currently use Arts People at Madison College and a very small ticketing system for the Sun Prairie Civic Theater, and just trying to figure out where we should go next.
Okay, great. And so you're looking to come off of Arts People onto a different platform?
We were, because when they just made a change going to Neon One, we had some issues with the way they were taking out the fees. But recently we've been able to change that. So we may be sticking with Arts People for the school. I mean, we like it. We haven't really had any issues until they did the merge with Neon One.
Okay, cool, thanks. I may have more questions for you on that product because that's one on my list that I haven't really dug into, and since you have it, maybe we'll get a little bit more from you on that. But for now, I'll just keep going down the line. Thanks, Betsy, and thanks.
Sure, thank you.
Brenna, good to see you, Brenna, at least half of you.
Yeah, so good to see everyone. I'm not usually in on the WPN calls, but my name is Brenna. I'm the box office manager, the Fine Arts Center for the Turbo, so I'm speaking for myself as well as Jen a little bit. So Jen, feel free to jump in if you need to. But we've been doing a general glance at a huge number of softwares, as I'm sure all of you have been. We are getting off of the Sabo train at this point. We've had a couple of demos at the end of last week with Ticket Search and then VBO, and we have a couple of more demos today with Tix.com and Audience View. At this point, we're thinking that our top couple are VBO and Audience View. We had a very good experience with our demo regarding VBO last week, so we are feeling quite good about that at this point.
Great, thank you.
No problem.
Diane.
We decided to go with VBO because we needed to make a decision and just get rolling. So I'm in the process of onboarding right now. I've requested all our records be exported from Sabo, which was going to take over a week because she's kind of backed up on that end. But as much as the sales portion of my VBO experience was a little rocky, I've really enjoyed the onboarding so far. They've been very quick to get back to me with everything. They've been very kind and helpful, and I'm anticipating things going well in the future. So I've got another call tomorrow with them, another training call where we'll do the widgets or the links or the whatever that get them to your web page. And I think I haven't paid a lot of attention, and I never did a demo with VBO, but I think that it's going to be nicer than Sabo was, because you knew when you left your website to go to Sabo, you knew things were different. But I think that this VBO is going to be more. It's going to be our website, really. So that makes me happy. And I'd been concerned initially about our our classes, which Janelle, the salesperson I had been dealing with, said that our classes, which we used to do as general admission, they were just a one night sort of thing. They were going to be charged a max of 3% on those, and they would have to be registration. But when I onboarded, I was told, no, you can just do those as general admission. So it would just be the ticket fee. There wouldn't be a percentage at all in there. And so that made me really happy. The weird thing about them, though, I think that bothers me a little, but then I think, well, we're getting a really decent deal, I think, is that if you, as I understand it, if you refund a ticket outside of 30 days from the original sale, you can't recoup your per ticket charge.
Okay.
And then you'll be charged when they buy a ticket with that later. Wait, no, they won't. No, if it's an exchange, they won't. But if it's a refund, you can't recoup that per ticket charge outside of 30 days. And I think most of our refunds, at least most of our refunds, I think are going to be on 30 days because, so I'm excited, and I think it'll be good.
Thanks, Diane. Thanks. I appreciate that. That's a nuance that's very helpful. And full disclosure, Caitlin is the mole in the room for VBO. So if you say anything bad about it, she can get back on.
Janelle was really good. I really liked Janelle a lot. I just figured she was super busy with all the people just dropping on her.
And I talked to Caitlin too. No, and my demo did not go well. Full disclosure. I was not impressed with Janelle. And so I reached out to Caitlin and had a follow up. And so Caitlin and I we're on good terms. But,
Janelle seemed really sweet, just like she had too many balls in the air, and she probably did.
Yes, and I agree. I agree with the same assessment. Caitlin, go ahead.
Yeah, Diane, I did want to verify that is how the refund you were talking, that is how it goes. We just kind of accepted that. So we use VBO at St. Norbert. That's where I'm from. And yeah, that's correct. That's something we just came to terms with, and we were like, whatever, in the long run, it's really not going to be that bad.
Right.
But yeah, we did have difficulty swallowing that too. And also, if you have questions about classes, I do a ton of them at St. Norbert. So feel free to reach out to me if you need help with that stuff.
Thank you, Caitlin. I appreciate that because I will be calling.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Thanks, Diane. Okay. Ian, I'm going to come to you next.
Sure. So I feel a little bit behind, hence why I wasn't at the original meeting. We had done everything needed to go with Artsman, which is based out of Canada. We submitted everything on April 24th. On September 29th, we finally found out that our PCI team was not going to allow us to continue with Artsman. A few weeks prior to that, I told them that Sabo was going away. When they told us on September 29th, they didn't know anything about Sabo, even though one person in that meeting was well aware that Sabo was going away. So we had a demo with Ticket Sage on Friday afternoon. We also did VBO this morning. Right at 11, so just an hour before this. I like both. I'm glad that somebody mentioned something about the presenter of VBO because I didn't know what was going on there, but something seemed a little off. So I'm glad I'm not alone with that. Ticket Sage, we really kind of like Ticket Sage because if I'm understanding correctly, we don't pay for a thing if we don't sell any tickets. So if the pandemic continues until next July, knock on wood, hopefully that does not happen, we wouldn't pay them any money because we're not really using the system. So that was kind of my box office manager, Beth, really liked that. A couple things that with VBO, I liked that they could share to Facebook when they made a purchase. So hopefully, potentially, others could buy that. And then it was nice that you could send tickets to somebody. My box office manager liked both of those options, and she liked the workflow of VBO too. She had to go to her other job. I had to jump on this, so we're going to chat a little bit later. But But right now we're looking at both TicketSage and VBO.
Great, thanks. I haven't heard of TicketSage, so that's one I'll write down. Thanks, Ian. Jen, did you want to add anything to what Brenna said?
No, I think we're good.
Okay, then I go to Jillian.
Hi, everybody. Jillian. I'm at Lawrence University in Appleton. We are currently looking at VBO. Audience View Campus are probably our top two. Did my demo with VBO last week. And yeah, it was weird. But echoing what Ian said, like my box office manager really liked the flow of VBO, liked the flexibility of being able to design our own in-house seat maps and to design our own reports. Definitely like the look of it. I think our patron experience is going to be far better than it was with Sabo, with VBO. So that's probably my front runner right now. But I have my demo with Audience View this week.
Awesome, thank you. John.
Hi, everybody. I'm John Kramer. I'm with the Oconomowoc Arts Center in Oconomowoc. We had discussions with Showtix4U, VBO, Audience View, and Theater Manager, which is Artsman. We are moving forward with demos with Audience View today and Theater Manager on Wednesday. So I'm skipping out of the conference for an hour for that demo. My front runner as Theater Manager, even onboarding is delayed. We wouldn't, necessarily be able to get up and running with them until mid to late November or even into December. But there are a couple of things that I really liked about them. One of the biggest things for me personally was the integration of the email. They were the only ones that said that we would be able to discontinue Constant Contact and use Theater Manager completely for our email marketing. And having the database of our ticket system and our email system all in one, I think is favorable. And then, of course, we get rid of that $99 a month fee with Constant Contact that we would save some money on. In terms of the pricing, I felt like Theater Manager, especially because they are doing a little bit of a discount this first year, which is great. It would actually be less expensive for us than Sabo was. So VBO and Audience View seemed like they were going to be pretty similar to Sabo and maybe even just a little bit more. So Theater Manager seemed like the best fit for us right now. We'll see how we feel after the demos, but that's where we're at. Ian, I would love to know why did your PCI say you could not go with Artsman? Was it because United States versus Canada?
Long story short, yes. They didn't really go into detail. They just said that they did not feel comfortable after 5 months and 5 days of having the information. So then they gave us an Excel document with 47 questions that we're sending to each ticket software, thank you, that they'll need to fill out so that the PCI team can feel comfortable. And I apologize, UW Platteville is where I'm at. I didn't mention that before, but sorry, I get a little nervous on camera and in person and every day.
Thanks, Ian. We love you. Thanks, John.
Hi.
Okay, Josiah, your turn. And for those who maybe just entered, we are just going around and saying what products we've been looking at and what maybe our top choices are right now. We're not getting into too much discussion just yet because I want to get through everybody. So Josiah, you're up.
Afternoon, everyone. My name is Josiah. I'm at the Macomb Brooks Performing Arts Center in Central Wisconsin, which is in Watoma. So long story short, we had Vendini. We went with Vendini about 2.5 years ago or so because we never were online before. So I wanted to make sure that we were selling tickets. So we went with Vendini. Then Audience View bought them about 1.5 years ago. And now we're actually going to we are going to move forward with Audience View Professional because I think and I feel kind of bad because everyone else didn't get a good deal like we did, but I think it's because we were with Vendini for X amount of years. So I think we got probably the better end of the stick on that one. So if anyone wants to know, our deal with them is $1.10 per single ticket is what they're going to take. And they won't start taking anything until we start, selling tickets, which is going to be in another year because we move forward with not having any shows this next winter, spring. So that's the deal with them. And they do charge like a $200 per month fee. But when we sign a 3-year deal with them at a certain time, that's waived for 3 years. And yes, I know in 3 years, it's probably gonna be a pain in my rear end because we'll probably have to renegotiate something in 3 years. But for right now, I think that was the best bet. The only thing I'm worried about is the whole constant contact thing because they don't have a web email marketing with their system like Vendini did, which kind of irritates me why they can't use that same system with, Audience View Professional, but it is what it is, and I'll have to deal with it as it comes. But I think we are going to move forward with that because I have no time to go through another set of videos. We did that before, and we did it in like 2 months before we went with Vendini, and I don't want to ever go through that again at this point. So that's where we're at right now, and that's what we're going to do.
All right, cool. Thanks, Josiah. Caitlin, I'm skipping you, and I'm going to go to Kim. Kim, go ahead and let us know what you're looking at. You're still on mute, Kim. At least I think you were talking. I couldn't see your mouth moving, though.
Right. I'm wearing my mask because I am in the ticket office. We are selling tickets. We are having a show Friday night. We are going through all of that right now. So, I don't know what we're going to be doing yet on Friday night as Sheboygan is exploding with cases. But we are working on looking at ticketing systems also. We're looking at VBO. There are many things I like about VBO. Ian, that is who you are talking about with problems with PCI, right?
No, he was saying audience. No, which one was
Artsman.
Artsman.
Okay.
And I believe audience
Which
use
is theater
also
manager.
Canada. So
Yes,
that
it
if
is.
there is
Yeah, Audience View is Canada, but from what I know is that everything's web-based. So I think you wouldn't have an issue with Audience View.
Okay.
Okay. And so we're looking at that. Nothing, same thing that everybody else is looking at. I will say the one thing, Tessatura tried to tell us that their rates were much less. We would be delightfully surprised at their change. And I'm pretty sure that in 2011, they quoted us the same price. So we are not, while Tessatura is lovely, we won't be looking at that because you don't really know when you're going to sell your next ticket or when you've sold your last. So we're up a little bit in the air. I think right now our thoughts are a little bit more with, we have shows scheduled for the whole month of October. And then we need to deal with that. And that's probably foremost in my head right now. But otherwise, ticketing systems, most of them seem to be pretty good. All seem to somehow be a bit of an improvement from Sabo. Everybody has lovely demonstrations that they walk you through. Theater manager sort of has gone above and beyond trying to move us toward them. But I think VBO would be, if I was to decide right this second with no more thoughts or input from anybody, I'd probably go with VBO.
All right. Thanks, Kim. Lindsay, your turn.
Hi, I'm from Iowa, so that's why you probably don't know me.
Welcome.
We have a 1,200 seat house. So we were with Sabo. We do about 30 shows a year, and we do a build your own ticket, like season ticket. So those were all kind of some of the things that I had to work within in finding a solution. So we demoed Choice, Ticket Search, Audience View, and Tessitura. We tried to get a VBO demo. I did not get good response from the salesperson, so we did not move forward there, unfortunately. we are leaning, we're probably going to sign a contract with Choice. Some of the things that I liked the most about them is they are supported by the Schubert Foundation in New York. So I don't feel that they're going to go anywhere in case things don't go well in the next year. I also liked that they have a monthly town hall with all of their customers so that you can get, you can be part of the process of developing the new features, which I thought was great. They were also only about 20 cents more than what Sabo had been for us. Ticket Search had told us they would match our Sabo deal, and they look just like Sabo. They've changed, the only thing is you build your own map versus they build it for you. Audience View unfortunately didn't work for us. They couldn't do a build your own ticket package. They thought they could. They got me through an hour demo and then was like, well, this doesn't sound like the right thing. And they're like, oh, no, that's right. We can't do that. So.
Well, that's good to know. Cool.
That's where we were.
Thanks, Lindsay. Okay, Paul, you're up.
Hi, everybody. It's Paul Trapp at the Edgerton Performing Arts Center. And I just have to confess, I'm purely here for selfish reasons of seeing all you guys because I've missed you.
Hey.
We currently have Ticket 2K Pro from New Concept Software, and we've had it for 20 years. So we're pretty happy with it. It's not a cloud-based. So I'm kind of taking in the information. If ever we decided to go to cloud-based, I'd like to have an idea of where we would stand with that. But right now, I mean, it's pretty inexpensive system for us. We own it. It's on our own server. We don't pay any monthly fees or anything. It's on a just like 50 cents a ticket, actually. And those are just the ones that are sold online. Otherwise, anything sold in the box office, we don't pay anything other than the credit card fees. So we've been pretty happy with them, and their support is just beyond wonderful. So, but they're a fairly small group, I think. They do a lot of sports venues, I think, probably more than performing arts. So that's just me. Thank you.
Thanks, Paul.
You're welcome.
Don't fix it. None of us would be here if Sabo wasn't going out of business. So yeah, thanks. No, and you can come anytime, even if you just want to have your wonderful face there. I will not object. I believe Sean F. is my good old friend from the OAC. So unless he wants to add anything, speak now, Sean, or forever hold your peace.
I'm just listening in for the sake of listening in.
All right, sounds good. Wish I could see you, but you can stay incognito if you wish. All right, so then I will go to Sharon. Sharon, I can't hear you. I think you're still muted.
Sharon is with me at OAC, so I don't know that she would have anything more
okay.
to add.
All right, I see 2 thumbs up. Okay, so I think that means we're gonna move to Tiana.
Good morning, or good afternoon. I don't know what time it is. Tiana Conway, Carthage College in Kenosha, Wisconsin. So just like everyone else, Ticket Search, VBO, Audience View. But with VBO, I actually had a great experience with my demo. My first demo actually was with Caitlin. And from there, then I had a conversation with my box office student manager. We had a conversation with Mike just directly, just going through. We didn't do a demo. I just wanted to talk things through first. And then we did a full demo last week with other areas on our campus, which went really well and very smoothly on my end. The reason why VBO is the top of my list right now, one, there's no contract. I can't buy into a system and then in 6 months it's gone. We don't know with the pandemic. And since there is no written contract, I don't pay for anything until I'm using this system. It's very comparable to the cost that I have for Sabo at 75 cents per ticket. Yeah, there is some percentage cost if I use for registration and donation and merchandise, But they explained that if other WPN members are interested in switching over to VBO, they're going to waive some of that stuff and also give us a better deal overall. So that's why I'm also on this call, just seeing where everyone is at, seeing if we can almost get it down. They mentioned about 60 cents a ticket, but maybe we can get it down a little bit more if there's a bunch of us moving over. I loved VBO because I want to build my own seat maps. Sabo, that was a pain in the butt, having to go through them, and it was charged every time, and if there was something wrong with it. I don't have to buy any other equipment. Obviously our ticket printers are pretty universal, but my scanners, I spent $750 per scanner. We have 8 of them. Right now, the shell of the scanner doesn't quite work with VBO, but they said that we can take a look since other Sabo customers will have that similar kind of shell. But I can use all the iPods because they do QR codes. We do scanning for everything right now. We are actually having events. We don't have external patrons at our events, but it's all Carthage faculty, staff, and students. So we have to do it for tracing purposes so we know where they are sitting just in case. I also like that you can build your own reports. It interfaces with our website, which is nice because right now Sabo it's taking you off the website. There's no onboarding. I really liked the registration features that they have. And then another thing is, just like Sabo, I can use a third-party authorized.net. That's for credit card. For audience view, I found reviews that, so I don't know this. I didn't talk to them directly and ask them. I saw it after I've already spoke with them. But when I was doing reviews online, seeing, there are some people who are still waiting for their money pre-pandemic. Because they weren't using a third party. They were going directly through Audience View to do their credit card, and they still haven't received their funds, which they're keeping it. So that really concerns me. And I can't afford Audience View after the 3 years. The $200 a month is just, it's really expensive, even the campus one, compared to the deal that I was getting with Sabo. Ticket Search, I was very much interested in them because it's pretty much Sabo, except for they had a great split in a relationship. It's based out of Australia, and they've only been in North America for a month or two. So that they're too new for me right now to go in that direction. So right now, my top choice is VBO. I haven't met with my boss yet to discuss is this a route we're going to go, but I feel like right now VBO is the least possible expense that if something happened and our venue closes or VBO goes out of business, I'm not putting all that cost like I was with Sabo up front. So it seems like a very safety net for me right now.
Thanks, Tiana. Very good. All right, Victoria and Tom, take us home, and then I'll share my experience.
Okay, I guess I will talk. Sorry, I'm in the dark here because I have I'm in the box office as well, and we have a lot of windows, and my grad assistant's here, so we're in a mask. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay. All right, sorry about that. We also looked at the top 3 that everybody did: VBO, Audience View, Campus, and Theater Manager. Right now we're leaning towards VBO, which I'm very interested in. Tiana, if that's true, they said if we all go over, we can lower our rate. I would like to do that. let's get together on that. I don't know, Caitlin, if that's how we would, going forward, if we just say, can all of us get together and say that we want the rate, or I don't know, that would be something else. But
Victoria, not to interrupt you, but yeah, I was telling a couple other venues that what if we did a negotiation Zoom call type thing of all of us on, just because then we can see it from all of our views and making sure that we're all getting the same one. And if that makes us have a contract for 3 years, I'm totally on board with that.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, I'll comment more on that too, Victoria, when you're done. I've had 2 conversations with Mike from VBO.
Okay.
On behalf of Wisconsin Presenters Network.
Okay, good. All right, there's lots of things we liked about VBO. As Tiana said, there's no minimum ticket sales. Whatever we sell, we sell. There's no contract. There's no upfront costs. I do love that it's going to work with all my iPods. I don't have to buy sleds or scanning material. It's going to work with our Boca. Tom likes it because they do promise they can bring over all transaction history. And that's important for Tom. Right now, we're in deep in negotiations with Janelle and the powers that be. But that being said, we have to, if we get an agreement, we have to send it off to our powers that be, even above Tom. But no, audience view, they were limited. I did not like some of their answers about their data being brought over and how long it was going to take. I was a little surprised at their price. Theater manager was priced reasonably, but I just like the flow of VBO.
All right, great. Tom, did you have anything to add?
No, but thanks for saving the best till last.
No problem. All right, so I'll kind of give kind of my 2 cents, and then like I said, I did have some further communication with Mike, who is I think he's the officially the CEO of sales for VBO. So I was looking at, my first demo was with Audience View, and I was actually really impressed, Audience View Campus, and I really liked Mike, the sales guy and everything. So but now I haven't heard anything since September 21st. So it's been radio silence. I don't have a price quote. And I get the sense from what I'm hearing that the prices he quoted me are not accurate or whatever. He kind of talked about that we could do either a per ticket charge or like a lump sum. And then he talked about some standard setup fees, but then there wouldn't be extra charges for additional venues after that point. But I was never told anything about a raise after 3 years and things like that. Actually, I haven't gotten any real tangible pricing information. I thought that would be coming in an email. So that I was very impressed. I wanted to really like them, but now I'm, they're kind of going down on my list. So I had my demo with VBO, and as I mentioned, Janelle was kind of scattered. So I really wanted to like them, but I kind of didn't at first. But then, like I said, I connected with Caitlin, and she was able to show me a little bit more from the user features. One of the things that I do like about VBO is that, yeah, you can use any device as a scanner. I don't currently scan tickets, so I could literally go buy a cheap phone as long as I can get it to connect to the internet and it can download the VBO app. It's a scanner. So we're talking a $14.99 phone can be a scanner, and that's really appealing to me because I know I'm not going to be able to invest a huge amount into buying some of the expensive scanners. But I would like the data of scanning to know who came, who didn't, and be able to send the emails afterwards to the people that actually came, not just the ticket holders. So that was one of the things that was very appealing to me. So right after my demo, Mike from VBO reached out to me, and he was very interested in making some sort of deal with the Wisconsin Presenters Network. He's understanding that many of us were on SABO. His first initial call to me was to learn about our organization. And so I told him we're a tight-knit group. So, we talk and we're very candid with each other. And I basically told him what all the agents out there know. Wisconsin is a very special group. And I explained to him some of the things that we do and how when many of us were on Seat Advisor together, we would, work with each other even in our own ways to support one another on our product. So if we all do end up going to a similar product, we would continue to do the same. He was very, very interested in our group and in, how I explained it to him. So he initially said he definitely wants to see what we could do for group discounts or group benefits. I just had another phone call conversation with him today, and he said it's a little difficult to offer just a blanket group discount because so many of us have different just different contracts and different needs. Some of us like to pay that lump sum up ahead and get a lower per ticket fee. Some just want to pay the per ticket fee as they go. So he said it's going to be difficult, but what he is interested in doing is he definitely wants to work with everybody to price match so that his words to me were, they want to make it as painless as possible to move from Seat Advisor to VBO, meaning they don't want it to be huge costs in a pandemic. So he was willing to at least match whatever our current per ticket fee is with Sabo, and possibly even beat it. Right now, it's the 60 to 70% or 60 to 70 cent per ticket fee range. They are also offering for Wisconsin presenters that there would be no charges for donations. And then normally, this is something I think that he's offering exclusively for the Wisconsin folks, is that there would be no charges, there'd be no per ticket fees for comp tickets up to a certain percentage. So like, and that would be written into your contract, and that is negotiable. So if you sell, like me, you're on a college campus, you give away a lot of comp tickets, the percentage of comp tickets that you give out, they'll basically not charge you any per ticket fees on every comp ticket until you reach that percentage. Then they'll just charge you your rate, which for me is like, whoa, because with Seat Advisor, I was paying the 65 cent per ticket fee on comps or regular tickets. It was across the board. So that is a nice feature that I believe they don't offer to their other clients that they're willing to do for us. They're also willing to do, the first contract is a 1-year contract. But they are willing to do a 3-year to lock in a price. If you want to lock in and sign a 3-year contract, they're willing to negotiate that as well. And I said, as far as after that point, going month to month or things with the per ticket fee, I said, what guarantees us that you're not going to just jack it up and double the price? And he said, they just don't do that. They're just not that kind of company where they're going to all of a sudden, double our fees and things. He said, it's pretty much, we'll keep the price the same for the most part, unless, there's any issues. And he said, we would have a 30-day notice if prices were being raised or anything like that. The other benefit that he felt was that he was going to offer for Wisconsin Presenters Network members exclusively was ongoing training, and kind of through Caitlin. That's why he onboarded Caitlin as kind of our Wisconsin person who uses the system. And so if after, the initial training, if you brought in, a new box office manager or new students or things like that, they would assist with continued training, which they don't necessarily do free of charge for other clients, but they would do that for us as part of, some of the deals that they can offer through Wisconsin Presenters Network. And then the other thing that, as we were talking, I mentioned that we have an annual conference. And so he was interested in, doing kind of like a sponsorship, like maybe he'd sponsor a happy hour or things like that. So as a partner to the Wisconsin Presenters Network, they want to do everything that they can for our members on an individual basis, on a case by case, to make sure that each person is comfortable with their own contract. So they can't really do kind of the group deal contract, but there was a lot of things that I felt, he understands the kind of group that we are, and understands that if several of us do come over, we are good customers and we're good clients. And it sounds like they really are making an effort to, make it worth our while to choose them over other competitors. So that is what I have to say about that. Now I'll just open it back up for discussion on, anything. If, let's just open discussion. Tiana, your hand is up.
I forgot to mention with VBO, because we're part of a campus, so anyone else is thinking this, I've been trying to get other areas to buy into Sabo, and they just weren't giving into it. So we were putting all the costs through, and then if they used their system, then I had to do a transfer of funds to help pay for the system, right? With VBO, which is really great, because you're only paying per ticket right now, like, because we don't sign a contract for that, for a certain amount of tickets for the whole year. We pay as we go. It charges my credit card. What I really like about them is that if athletics decides to have VBO ticketing, we can create their own organization within Carthage, and then they provide their own billing. So I don't have to transfer funds. I don't have to manage them. Whereas Sabo, I had to a little bit, and that's why they didn't onboard. So if you're looking as a campus, I'm really looking for, like with VBO, the reason why I'm really liking it is because athletics does a lot of camps. And once we're past the pandemic in the summer, that will really help them, because right now they pretty much do it by hand. And then our advancement team does a lot of events with alumni and donors, so they can also use it as a registration purpose instead of using a Google form. So just to add in there, if you're on a campus, I forgot to mention that.
Thanks, Tiana. I had a quick question for Diane, then I'll go to Caitlin. Since you're kind of in the process, are you bringing your ticketing history over? And if you are, do you know how that's going? is that working for you?
Well, I got the template and there are multiple templates. Like there's a ticket template where you can move the ticketing history over. And there's a template for donations. And then there's the template for patron records. As I recall, I haven't looked at it lately, there are 3 different templates, but they needed a report that had the patron ID in it. And I couldn't find any reports that had a patron ID in it that would have everything else that we needed. And I didn't want to have to combine 2 spreadsheets in order to get because I figured something would get screwed up somewhere. So that's when I reached out to Sabo to ask them to export all the records. And Gladys got back to me and said that she was in the process of doing a lot of these exports where as I understand it, everything, the ticket history, everything will come over. And she said the files are so big that it's taking a lot of time to do it because it'll get midway through the export and then it'll crash and she'll have to start again. So she said she wouldn't get to mine till Thursday at the earliest. So I'm thinking that even if it comes by Friday or Monday, it's better than nothing. And I should be able to get everything in then. I also did trim my patron list or my records down as far as I could. I eliminated a lot of things because I didn't want it to be a huge, not that we have a huge number of things, but so I think it's going to go okay as long as you have that patron ID number, I think.
Okay. And are you exporting just to like CSV files and then they're coding it in? Okay.
I think so. That's how I had tried to do it initially, was CSV to Excel and then, into their template. You'd have to get everything in the right order. I don't know if you remember doing this the first time when we joined Sabo, we had to do it from an Excel spreadsheet, and you just need all the columns in the same. They have to be formatted the same. And I have somebody that'll do that, but it was missing pieces that we had to have, and I couldn't easily get to a report. So I think it'll work okay. When Sabo did it the first time, it went pretty well.
Okay. Because I know when we came over to Sabo, we didn't bring any ticketing history. We were like basically starting from scratch, and they had imported like, I don't even know what they did. I had like 10,000
Oh wow.
acts
We don't have anywhere near
that. But these contacts like from the college system that I just went through this summer during the pandemic, and I tried to delete out 10,000 people because they haven't bought a ticket since 2009.
Right.
They were poured into my system. So I'm kind of like hoping to, like you, get rid of the mess when we import into a new system. Len, go ahead, and then Jen.
Yeah, so I know Lonnie had said, sort of full disclosure, that I am a little bit of a mole, but I did want to further define how I will be here to help you guys. So I've been using VBO for about 3 years, and the college has had it for 4. So we are an extensive user of VBO, and we, for lack of a better term, we challenge them a lot with what we want to do and how we want the system to work. So once they had caught wind of Sabo going out, and once they realized that a lot of people using Sabo were part of the Wisconsin Presenters Network, they definitely wanted to make an easy process for you guys to transfer over to a ticketing software. And with that, they're a pretty small company. So with that, they knew if a lot of you guys were moving over, that they were going to be influxed with a lot of people who wanted to onboard. So to be able to spread it out and be able to onboard anyone in this network in quickly and in just in a reasonable amount of time. They knew they had to add a little bit of extra manpower. So that's why they have decided to bring me on to do some freelance stuff for them to help you guys through the process as quickly as possible. So I know a lot of people were quoted, I think with Audience View, that they would have to wait a little while to get onboarded, or they wouldn't be able to get onboarded until November or something like that. And they really wanted to get into the system earlier. That's why VBO is saying that they can start onboarding you as quickly as possible, because they have brought me on to be specifically here to help you guys. So I'm kind of the liaison for them. So yeah, if you guys have specific questions about anything, you can absolutely reach out to me about VBO stuff. And I'm totally willing to help you guys just understand the system better. If a random question comes up as you're choosing something, feel free to reach out to me. Yeah, and what Diane was talking about is it is a CSV file mapping over. And I don't even remember who it was now that I've been in on so many demos, is that if you end up having a chunk of people that you want to import, you can find that CSV file in VBO, and you can actually map your own stuff over if you want. Like they want to map their freshman class over every year, and you can do that by yourself. They provide you with that, and then you just upload the CSV and it should map over. So that's another thing that they provide you with, the customization and being able to do things yourself. So if anybody wants to see a demo of that feature, because I'm not sure who got it covered in theirs or not, I can do a quick little, I can record a demo, send it out to the group if anybody's interested in that. I see hands raised, so I will, yeah. So again, just another thing, just helping you guys out, making sure you're getting the information as quickly as possible as you make your decisions.
Thanks, Caitlin. Yeah, you've been, and I'm sure will continue to be, a fantastic resource for us. Jen, go ahead.
I was just going to give a cautionary word of advice for anybody who's using Sabo. We did our demo with Ticket Search last week on Thursday, and Ticket Search is the company that was founded by people who used to work at Sabo. And the guy that did our demo said that they're already trying to move some people over from Sabo into Ticket Search, and the Sabo database is starting to behave like a system that's failing. And he said they're having trouble running some reports and getting them to run quickly, and things are timing out on them. And he thinks that they're just kind of letting it go and perhaps not doing maintenance on the system. So he encouraged us very strongly to get your data out as quickly as possible, even if you're still using it and may have to do a second pull of it later on. Maybe pull whatever you can now, just so that you have something that you can import just in case the system just goes kaput. So just a word of advice.
Thank you. That doesn't surprise me at all.
I'm sorry. I just want to say I'm sorry you guys are dealing with this. Like, that sounds so horrible. I feel so bad for you guys.
Oh, well, adversity will make us stronger, right? Can I ask Diane, can you stay on the call, like even after the recording? Because I would like to know, like, specifically which reports you ran. Like, I'm like, after this call, I'm going to go run a bunch of stuff, but I specifically to get the ticketing history out, or if that was something that you had to have Gladys do. But if you can just stick around afterwards for those of us that are still on Sabo and got to deal with that.
Can I ask one question of Jen?
Yeah. Yes.
Jen, are you aware of any report that would include that patron ID number other than an operator's journal?
The patron profile report.
Patron profile does it.
Yeah, I tried to run our patron profile report just out of curiosity like 2 weeks ago, because I was trying to figure out how many records we were talking about importing, and it timed out on me. I can't run it. So that's when I try to run our whole database. So that's when I kind of noticed some problems were happening, and then they confirmed that in that demo that they were having challenges too.
Okay. All right.
Wonderful. All right. Thanks. Victoria.
I had some questions for Diane as well. So if you're going to stay later, that'd be great. I was just wondering, but you said you talked to Gladys. Okay, so she's still there. She's very bright. So if she's not able to do something, I'm a little worried now.
Well, she just, it sounds like it's that database, you know, she's having problems getting things out because people have a lot of records. Like if Lonnie has 10,000 records, I got ours down to about 1,500. So I said, maybe ours will go really fast and you can just slip it in sometime. But I don't know, you know, she did get back to me after a couple days though and let me know that it would be a while. Did I still want her to do it?
Okay, so she is working with you and able to trying to, okay.
Yeah.
Now I'm getting nervous.
Yeah, I am too.
How many records do you have, Victoria?
Right now, about 16,000 we went over, and that does not, well, and then we have some new people I went over, so I'm not worried about that don't have patron IDs or anything yet, the freshmen and things like that. But yeah, about 16,000, right, Tom?
Yeah, I'm trying to pare my list down to about 5 of what I want to actually bring over. So,
we're cleaned up as best we can be. This is alumni going back 20 some years that, you know, we still have, you know,
yeah,
we want in our system.
Jen, did you have your hand up anew or was that from before? Okay. All right. Any other input or questions or anything that anybody wants to ask before we kind of dive into more now looking at how we leverage our SABO databases? Does anybody have any questions about any of the products? You know, I know we all seem kind of like VBO fans, and I think that you know, I definitely think that it's not going to be necessarily for everybody. So like Josiah, I hope that, you know, audience view goes well for you, and those that are interested in theater manager, I know that's a really good product, and I've talked to Mary quite a bit as well. And so if you do go that way, you know, I don't want anybody to feel like you're being pressured into you know, a sales pitch here. So ultimately everybody's going to go with what feels right for them. So you know, but I think this is very good conversation. Josiah, go ahead.
Hey, Caitlin, did they do a massive like update within these last 3 years with VBO? Because originally we looked at VBO and I thought it looked like garbage. And now that I looked at their website, it looked like they've done a lot more.
Oh, yeah.
Way more updates than it looked. Because before we did not like how it was set up for some reason. And we actually looked at St. Norbert's stuff just on the patron side of it. And I didn't like how it was all set up and how you went through to buy tickets and stuff like that. It just didn't look, for my sense, professional enough. But now it seems like they've changed a lot within the last 2.5, 3 years.
There's a ton, honestly. Like, they have come a long way. Like, our onboarding did not go 4 years ago when we did it. It did not go without issue, honestly. I think in the first call we had talked about when we were really presenting stuff. The reason we went with them is because we needed a tool that treated registrations just as important as ticketing. We needed both. And my boss, because I wasn't here when he did this, when he onboarded them, but he went with them. He was not 100% confident when he did onboard them, but it was the only system that he could find that had equal importance of both of those mechanisms in a system. He had confidence that it would get better, but he knew it was not perfect. They have come a long way, and a lot of that is because we have pushed them so hard. Because if any of you guys know my boss, Paul, he doesn't easily back down on things, and he likes things a certain way. So there were a lot of things that needed to be fixed, and we made sure they got fixed. We put pressure on them when we needed to put pressure on them. You know, there were some things we knew we weren't going to get, but a lot of those were just like, all right, we can live without it. We can make it work. But honestly, like, their reporting, even when I first came on with the college 3 years ago, their reporting was trash. Like that custom, the custom sales report thing, that just got put on in the last year or so. And it, like, that has changed everything. It was And that was a huge part for us because working for a college like this, I've worked in nonprofit like theaters and stuff like that where it was kind of like, all right, we'll make the numbers work. But in a university, you can't just like throw this like terrible report at the finance department and expect them to take it. So we were having a lot of problems with that. But over the last 2 years after we really started putting pressure, like, guys, this has to be fixed. It got fixed and we haven't had any problems since then. But yes, you're right. It has come a very long way.
Yeah, even their website came far. I mean, beforehand I was looking at it,
yeah,
you know, when we were originally doing Vendini and stuff like that, and I thought it was like 2 teenagers created this thing. Yeah. And then now that I look at it now, it looks way, way better. And it looks
Are you
more
able to access the demo site from there? Like when they do their demos, they have like it's like demo.vbotickets.com or something. And you can actually like test stuff out on there and look at how it displays and stuff. Like,
yeah, it's totally different now. Beforehand, you couldn't. You had to contact them, and then I think we talked to the founders or whatever with that stuff. And I just did not like my box office manager, and I were like, nope, this is not the direction we want to go to.
I came from theater manager and audience view at my last nonprofit arts org, and I came out of VBO. I'm like flipping tables. I'm like, what is this? And then and yeah, they did not like me at first because I just was like, what is happening here? Like, what is going on? But yeah, it's really come a long way. So Josiah, I know you said you're going to onboard with audience view, but if you want to look at something specific, let me know and I can just you don't have to contact them to get like a demo or something. I can screen share some stuff with you.
That'd be perfect, because I think the reason why we are going to go with audience view is the fact that they already have our records.
Right. Yeah.
And they gave us probably one of the best deals, and I was like, wow, okay. But obviously the whole after the 3 years thing does kind of worry me about negotiation and stuff, and if I really want to go through that.
Right.
Knock on wood, but.
And I know, I think it was Lonnie, you had said you had hoped they wouldn't like jack up the price on you or something like that. They've never even mentioned anything about changing a price to us ever. We did negotiate, what you guys are being offered is not what we pay. So I think, I can't disclose what we're paying, but you guys are getting a pretty good deal with them. But I've never, what we negotiated with them in the beginning is what we've always paid, and they've never once tried to raise a price or something like that. The only thing is if you want something specific added to the system that they don't find valuable to implement across the system as a whole, they will probably present you with some sort of they will present you with a price if it's something you want built specifically. And we've done that before. There's been a couple things where we're like, how much would it cost to put this in, because we see value in it but you might not see value in it. So we're aware of that, but ultimately there are a lot of things I can point out in the system that I asked them for, or we presented to them as an idea. Maybe they didn't turn it around right away, but eventually they reach out to me. They're like, hey, we finally got around to some stuff and this was a really good idea, so we implemented it across the whole system. So here you go. Here's what you asked for. So that's been really nice of them.
Awesome. Thanks, Caitlin. Yep. Any other final questions before we just kind of jump into Sabo stuff specifically, which Caitlin, you can hang on and listen to our woes, or you can go.
I just want to support all of you.
So I'll leave the recording running just at this point. But so I guess my biggest question, I've never pulled I've pulled a full report of patron mailing, email, all the patron data, but I've never pulled ticketing history with it. So and again, maybe Diane, I don't know if you've pulled these or if Seat Advisor folks have been able to pull them for you, but are you pulling a whole spreadsheet of their data, but then a separate thing for ticketing history that matches to the patron numbers, or how's that working? Because I'm not sure how I would do that.
Yeah, and actually I was just pulling up the patron profile export that I did, and it's not showing an ID in there. There is no ID, and we have to have that ID, I think, because now I'm looking at the VBO onboarding templates that they sent me. There's an account template, there's a donation template, and there's a subscriber template, and there's a ticket template. So I'm pretty sure that we're not going to be able to get, especially the ticketing part. Donations, you would think you'd be able to run a report on that in Sabo and get that out. But ticketing, there's no report for ticketing unless you go by show.
And and that's what I'm concerned about, because unless you run literally like each record would be a page long. I have 11 years of ticketing history in here.
So I think that's the one that Gladys has to do.
Okay.
When Gladys does that export, and I've asked twice, so that's like everything, right, Gladys? But I haven't gotten a reply to that. I think it is that export that she's doing that's so huge that would have all that information in, all of it. And then we have to put it into those different templates separately.
Okay.
So I'm sorry, I interrupted you, Tiana.
No, it's okay. I interrupted you guys. So I just ran a patron profile, and it does show a patron ID for me. It's in the first column. So I can send it to you so it looks like it. But when I run a patron profile, when I'm looking at it, sorry, I include all events, even inactive ones. I didn't have to select to include an ID. It just includes it with mine. So I can send you a screenshot of that. And then, and the other one that I run is transaction history. That gives me all patrons and what they went to. Now, I don't know how, it is very messy in a CSV, very messy. So I don't know how VBO can input that in the patron history without the event actually being attached to it. I don't know if they would put it in the order notes, but it's very, very messy.
Go ahead, Diane.
Really, truly, go ahead.
Are you I guess, is anybody on this call not worried about bringing transaction history over and just saying to hell with it, let's just start afresh? I mean,
not for an event, because I already have those in hard copies and also in PDFs for all my reports. But what I'm concerned is my donor and making sure that gets over, because it's not like Blackbaud where we integrate with another system. And making sure that history gets over. We haven't been doing donations through Sabo for that long. I think it's only been 3 years, so it's not too bad. But losing that donor history in that place. Now we have it through our advancement team, but it's not like I had in Sabo. So that's where I'm worried about. Otherwise, that for event history, not as much, just because I already know who. We have well over 8,000 people that we market to, but those who are already on our e-newsletter will stay on it. That doesn't change, which is nice that it doesn't integrate with an email blast system, because if it did, that would be horrible to switch everyone over to like MailChimp or something, or Constant Contact. But otherwise, I don't know. I'm kind of curious why you would want the history of the show moving forward if you can already download it now and not have it in the new system.
I was just thinking, so I usually, when I market, I'll run reports of anybody that came to something within the last 3 or 5 years. So my feeling is, as long as I get those people into the new system, then I don't know if there should be a reason why I should be so paranoid about just starting fresh with building new ticketing history over the next 3 years, because if I clean up the list and say, okay, I know everybody that's in my new system has been active within the last 5 years. So beyond that, just kind of, I guess, having some of their seating preferences, where they normally sit, or been subscribers in the past. It's nice to be able to go back and look at that. But like you say, I could have that, I guess, sort of separate in a different area.
Well, I'm wondering if they can build, I agree. Yeah, it's really nice because I can just run like music events versus dance events versus theater for my marketing. I'm really wondering if VBO, they do have an attribute that labels those. I'm wondering if they can integrate and tag them. So sometimes we have tags and attributes. I don't know if VBO can do that. It's something we need to see if Caitlin can check in. Because if they can do that, then from Sabo, we can run just our music people and then make sure they get tagged. And then just running your theater and all the other areas that you want to take. Yeah, you're right. For marketing, I do tag people.
Yeah.
That's why I would want that show history. I guess it doesn't matter that which show specifically, but just that they
what
like
genre.
Right, genre, exactly.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. Are you is someone meeting with Caitlin that we can ask that? Is someone doing that anything recently to ask her if they can?
I can, because I have a question.
Oh yeah, you're doing it. Yeah, so I'm curious if they can do an attribute tag of genres. So we can run separate reports for them, but it's just, or is that I'm going to have a student do it over Christmas break?
No, right? That's what I'm afraid of.
Oh my God.
If I clean my data up enough, well, yeah, and at some point it'll hopefully get all in there. So
I think they do ask. I'm setting up events right now, and there are places that you set up that sort of thing. You know, what kind of show is it? And it's pop music, or it's music, it's pop music, country, blah, 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 blah. So I think they have a similar thing that perhaps they could just run those categories rather than the whole history sort of thing.
Sure.
But maybe.
We'll find out. So I actually have to run to, I have a demo with ticket search, which I don't know why, but it's actually not even a demo. It's just the initial call. I felt like I should, reach out to a third just to be able to present that I did something. So I have that at 1:30. So I'm going to just go ahead and stop the recording, and then we'll wrap it up in the next 10 minutes here.